right, Ellis Cinema back, another edition. How we doing out there? Good, great, yan, puke. Wonderful. As you see on your screen, your dial. However, you are unfortunate. Why? Why are you joining me? This whole thing is just, it's a joke. It's the worst podcast in the history of podcasts. I feel confident saying that. It is the worst podcast in the history of podcasts. Why? Does anybody care about movies anymore? I don't know. Do they? Because, man, I feel like I had many more meaningful and robust conversations, a couple years back, and they just are dwindling and dwindling and dwindling. And it's just like, what are you doing? Twitch. What are you doing? Video games. What are you doing? Anime. And that's fine. That's fine. It's just it doesn't help with the importance of this podcast. But it's just the podcast is poorly executed. It's poor quality, poorly ran. The only thing it has going for it is a mildly passionate host. That's it. And passion's it. You don't come here for intelligence. Where were we? Bashing the show again? Oh, that's right. We're scratching the surface of this Shaw Brothers. I'm sorry. We're scratching the surface of the Shawscope Shaw Brothers Volume 1 collection from Arrow Video. Scratching but what is today's entry? Is today number 3? I think today is number 3. I hope so, because I am not starting this podcast over. Well, Sean, why don't you just edit it if you make a mistake? Edit a podcast. Edit a podcast about movies. You have any idea how stupid you sound right now? Take time editing a podcast about movies where you talk? There's no video here. Edit the fucking show. If one more person tells me that, I'm going to slap you. I will never take the time to edit this show, okay? Never. Fucking, you gotta be kidding me. You goddamn kidding me. Right. So, Five Shaolin Masters. Five Shaolin Masters. I'm actually glad that I'm doing this box set, even if it's just to hear myself talk. The DMs about how I pronounce names are kind of getting out of control. I'm sorry, guys. Well, Sean, you say that you love these movies, but you can't. Yeah, I know, but that's because I'm stupid. It's not that I don't want to get hip to the culture. It's just, and there's a lot of mixed information, like the pronunciation of names, Lau Leung, who is huge amongst the Kung Fu crowd. And I believe, give me a second to go through my notes here, but the different names for Mandarin and Cantonese. So, it's Luchi Lao. I don't know off the top of my head. I believe is the Mandarin name, but Lau Leung is his Cantonese name. So it gets a little confusing if you're, just kind of doing this as nobody fucking cares. Five Shaolin Masters. 1974, third installment in the Ellis Cinema Presents Shawscope Shaw Brothers Volume 1 collection. Came out in 74, another Shaw Brothers film, and of course directed by Cheh or Ching Cheh. I know, again, that's also different. I've heard it with a Z. I've heard it pronounced with a Z. Chin Cheh, or maybe it's Chin Cheh. Take a drink. But here we go again. Action choreography in Five Shaolin Masters, Lau Leung. But that's not how it reads when you're watching the film. And also Lau Wing also helped with these are two action choreography, kung fu director legends. In fact, Cheng Cheh, before we get into the movie here, Cheng Cheh Cheh. I think he's got over like 70 to 100 martial art films in his catalog. Funny thing, though, is they actually, the films that Lau Kar-Leung did were actually more popular and sold, many, many more tickets as opposed to Ching Che. And I mean, so when I look at the films, like especially like the ones that we're talking about, like Ching Che is much more of a traditional filmmaker, whereas Lau Kar-Leung, I think, was let's give the people what they want, but did it very fucking well. In fact, I am going to be so sad if Mad Monkey Kung Fu isn't a part of one of these Shawscope collections. I will be so pissed, because I think either... if we're talking old Kung Fu films, Mad Monkey Kung Fu may be my favorite. Either that or, what's it called? Two Warriors? Is that the one with Sammo Hung? I don't want to be telling you some shit. Let me look it up real quick. I never look up stuff on the fly, but it's so good. I want to make sure that, yes, Two Warriors, 1978, Sammo Hung. Fuck yeah, dude, that movie was so fucking badass. If you like the hand-to-hand combat sort of thing. But Cheng Che, like, the kid with the golden arm, classic. Two Champions of Death, Flag of Iron, Five Deadly Venoms, Invincible, Shaolin. Oh, Shaolin Temple. There are so many Shaolin martial arts. Fucking the Iron Bodyguard. Heroes 2. Heroes 2 is so good. Duel of the Fist, so good. Duel of the Iron Fist, the new one-armed sword. I could go on. The Invincible Fist, the Flying Dagger. Golden Swallow, the Assassin, the one-arm assassin. There are so many that he's done that are good. And it's just kind of funny. You're going through the bonus features of these discs, and basically everybody loved Lar Kar-Leung. Lau Kar-Leung. There we go. Everybody's drinking tonight. But everybody was as much as everybody loves Ching Che, I think in the Kung Fu circles, Lau Kar-Leung is the go-to. And we'll get into the plot here in a second. I remember I was doing a show with Kung Fu historian Bay Logan, and with the exception of how my ex made me feel recently, I can't remember feeling that small. Because he put me on the spot. We had a 3-hour conversation talking basically about his life and Kung Fu, and he's like, he put me on the spot. Who's your favorite cinematic martial artist? And I think I might have said Donnie Yen or Jet Li. I'm ashamed of myself. And he laughed. He went, no. And I was like, this motherfucker made me just look stupid on my own show. But I'm here for it. I would never edit something like that out. I'm glad I felt stupid, because now, fast forward a couple years, I wouldn't give him the same answer. Not by a long shot. And it's because I think I knew Kung Fu when I talked to him, but I don't fucking hold a candle to that fucking dude. But he said probably Lau Kar-Leung or Gordon Liu. Who's Gordon Liu? He was Pai Mei in Kill Bill. So Gordon Liu, well, we'll have plenty of time to talk about him in the future, because I think he's in several of the films coming up. So, what is the Five Shaolin Masters? Five Shaolin Masters, well, 5 students escape from the destruction of their beloved Shaolin Temple. Now each must take revenge and train in their own separate fighting styles. They will become the Five Shaolin Masters. Wouldn't you know it? So Hugh T, played by David Chiang. They escaped the burning Shaolin Temple after the Qing soldiers destroyed it in Shaolin Temple. Wait a minute. Wait a goddamn minute. This film serves as a pseudo pre. I was gonna say, what? Five Shaolin Masters in Shaolin. I'm sorry, guys. I guess I'm getting befuddled on the show here. So I didn't know that the next installment. You know what? I'll keep it as a surprise. I guess it plays as a prequel. The group of five decide to develop secret codes to identify fellow patriots. And, of course, they enlist those patriots and eventually will meet up again to escape to the south away from the Qing dynasty and also identify the traitor who sold out the Shaolin Temple, which, of course, is the go-to villain in almost all of, not all of them, but in a shit ton of Shaw Brothers films, which played by Wang Lung-wei. He plays Ma Fuyi. Ma Fuyi, and it was that. And I'll talk about this on some of the episodes to come, but there's a lot of the same names. In fact, and again, we'll get there, but Wang Lung-wei Wang, he definitely plays Ma Fuyi in two separate films that I'm sure of. And both traitors. Both, and I'm sitting there. Well, again, I'll approach it when we get to the next one. But anyway, Ma Fuyi, the traitor played by Wang Lung-wei, joins the Qing top fighters to eliminate the rebels, but is exposed by Ma Chao Xing, who gets captured by Ma Fuyi, and who meets up with a group of Shaolin men secretly posing as bandits to rescue Ma. Some suffering can... Look, let's not go by what the fucking internet says. You guys are all over the fucking place. Who taught you how to fucking give a synopsis for a movie? There are... So in Five Shaolin Masters, there's, I kid you not, probably 20 fight sequences. And they're all hand-to-hand. I love it. I fucking love it. And I expect no less from Lau Ka Lung. Whether it's... I also like the fights that are very brief. Like something that's funny about the Chinese culture, or at least a lot of these older films, fighting is just as good as a hello. So, back then you'll just show up and, oh, hey, what's up, friend? And you'll just do a little sparring real quick. Oh, yeah, you been good? Good. And then just go about your business. I love the short little sparring sessions that, are peppered throughout all of these films. Just because if you're good at something, show me a lot. I'm not gonna get bored by it. I can tell you that. We got David Chiang, Tai Lung, Alexander Fu Sheng in this. Fu Sheng is in everything, and he always seems to be the comedic relief. Kuan-Chun, Meng Fei, and Lung-wei Huang, or Huang Lung-wei, however you guys want me to pronounce it. What I thought was cool about this film, so minus the 72 training montages, what I like about this film is its simplicity. So, the Five Shaolin Masters, wouldn't you know it, they're going to have to go up against 7 villains. 7. Well, there's only 5 of them. Well, one travels with a pair. What I liked about the simplicity of it is, so ultimately, all 5 of them have run-ins with the villains, right? And none of them are good enough, skill-wise, to be able to compete with them yet. What I thought was cool, again, minus the 82 training montages, is that each of our 5 masters train specifically for each particular villain. So, for instance, Cai Chi, played by Cai Chi Chiang, played by Ti Leung. trains for Bao Lung's flying axe. A lot of blood in all these films. I should remind you. In fact, I can't wait until we get to Executioners of Shaolin. I want to giggle on Mike for some of the stuff. The dick kicks and a double dick kick is how that intro starts out. I'm not kidding. It not only is it a double dick kick, but it's held. They hold it in place. Okay, let's talk about the fight. We'll get to Executioners of Shaolin, but Cai Chiang trains for Bao Lung's flying axe. And the Shaolin staff will be his weapon. Li Shikai, he'll study the 10 fists to defeat Chang Xinghua's praying mantis. Fuck, dude, I don't know what it is. When I first saw the praying mantis style, I was kind of annoyed by it, to be honest with you. And now, because I've watched so many, it's so good. In terms of being able to cinematically sell it, I think it's fun to watch for sure. What else we got? Brother Hoodie, David Chiang. I'm sorry, Li Shikai was played by Kuan-Chun. Kuan-Chun plays Li Shikai. Brother Hu will train with the chained whip. That way he can defeat Chen Wanyo's pigtail technique, and that is exactly what it sounds like. He'll whip you with his hair. That's a part of his arsenal is his hair. Kind of mess up your timing a little bit if we're speaking realistic fighting. But he'll beat his pigtail technique and his two guards, because Chen Wenyao does not. He's not an individual like the other guys. Fung Tae-hong will study, get this, ground tumbling boxing to defeat Qin Shan's chopping fist. Of course, he'll do this by attacking below the waist. And then, of course, Ma Chao Xing, played by Fu Sheng. He's kind of a wild card, because like I said, he's Fu Sheng, at least in the films that we've discussed. I think this is the first time I've discussed Fu Sheng on my show, but the next one we'll talk about, he basically the same character, just young, kind of stupid, and doesn't really listen to people, wants things now, like I'm thinking of Shaolin Temple, where he wants to be trained right away for revenge, and he's just playing a kid. So, and the training montages for all of them learning their specific styles, it goes on for quite a bit out in the woods. And it's fun to watch. If you've ever seen 36 Chambers, all you people that's like, I should go to the gym more often. If you don't want to go to the gym, if you don't want to leave your house, buy some kung fu movies and just mimic what the fuck they do. If you are not tired after 20 minutes, I will eat my hat. I will eat my own hat. I won't eat my hat for you. Final showdown takes place at the Red Flower Pavilion. 7-on-5 showdown between at the riverbanks. I think what this film has that we just don't do anymore. Do you know how long? So I don't know if you guys listen to the shows prior, but Shaw Brothers films always end at the climax. Always. Very rarely do they not end at the climax. So meaning, like, literally when you see the villain die, there are Shaw Brother films, they will freeze frame the villain dying. So the villain dies, freeze frame, credits. Dude, I love that. We're done here. I don't need 7 endings like Lord of the Rings. Now did I need the 7 endings for Lord of the Rings? Yes, I did. For the extended cuts? Yes, I did. But for something like this, I don't need any exposition afterwards. He beat his ass, he got revenge, we can go now. And I love that it's just literally like, And the villain is dead. Here we go, credits. All right, let's go on to the next one. And I love that. And it is 19 minutes straight of 5 different fights going on. It's glorious. It is so epic. I go back and forth, or I try not to throw the word epic around. In fact, the first time in recent memory that I can think, at least in the last few months, that I've said epic was Boxer of Shantung, because that's 2 hours and 15 minutes of just ass beating. Testosterone, and it's all motivated, which is nice, but that's an epic. And this one teeters on an epic. It's not quite there, but it teeters. But you gotta think, 20 fucking fights, dude. 20 fights in a hour and 50-minute film. You got treated right. If you're an action film fan, that's what I say. You got treated right. Of course, you know, if it's an Arrow release, these things are jacked with bonus features. Uncompressed. I think I have said uncompromised instead of uncompressed every time that I have gone to say it. It is always uncompromised. That's not what it is. It is uncompressed Mandarin and English original mono audio for Five Shaolin Masters. Newly translated English subtitles. If you didn't listen to the films prior, I cannot tell you how much that means to me. I have bought bootleg shit from Hong Kong and all over the thing that always suffers the most are the subtitles. Now, you could be like, Sean, in an action film, do you really need the perfect subtitles? Well, no, invisible person asking me this. I don't. Obviously, with an action film, for the most part, you can form your own conclusions. However, I want to learn about the culture. I don't, and I hope Arrow isn't like, how do I say it? Like, I hope it's not like making up the rest of the translation, like where, you know, they'll say something and they're like, well, that's not going to appeal to Western audiences. I don't care. I want to know. How am I supposed to learn? It's no wonder the rest of the world thinks we're dumb. You know what I'm saying? And it's because on our home turf, we're trying to learn about other cultures and we're not even getting the right teaching. God damn it. That don't make sense. That don't make no sense. Newly filmed appreciation of Cheng Cheh. The appreciation for Cheng Cheh is with film critic and historian Tony Rain, and he is adamant that there's a Z in there. Cheng Cheh. I'll get there. One day. Interview with Star Kando, filmed in 2003. Most of these bonus features are filmed by this Frederick Ambrosine in 2003. Also have Elegant Trails, a featurette featuring David Chang, and how he came into Shaw Brothers films. So most of these things, most of the bonus features are either the history of Shaw Brothers as a company or the history of the actor, director, writer, choreographers themselves. So you got Elegant Trails with David Chiang, a featurette on the actor produced by Celestial Pictures in 2003. Another Elegant Trails with Tai Lung, a featurette on the actor produced by Celestial Pictures in 2003. And you got an alternate opening credits from the Five Masters of Death, as well as the U.S. version of Five Shaolin Masters. The Chinese version's better. Sorry. And yeah, packed to the gills. The artwork. Oh, I must say, in these box sets, or in this box set particular, one of my favorite artwork, whoever they got to commission a lot of these, it's amongst some of my favorite artwork that Arrow has ever put out. Yeah, sometimes they're a little too wacky for me, a little too off the beaten path. Every single one of these is perfect. In fact, to some extent, I almost prefer the artwork used for these than I do the traditional posters. Real talk. Just I don't know. In fact, if Arrow's listening, most of the time, I always, you guys always do the reversible slides. I always reverse the slides to the original theatrical poster or whatever, especially if it's an older one. But anyway, Five Shaolin Masters got everybody but the kitchen sink, and of course, written by Kuang Ni, who he had to write as many of these as Cheh directed. Again, Five Shaolin Masters starring David Chiang, Tai Leung, Fu Sheng, Kuan-Chun, Meng Fei. I love Meng Fei so much. Wang Lung Wei, Leung Ka-yan, and who else do we got? I know that we got fucking more people in here. God damn it! I know that I fucking wrote some more people down here. Give me a second here. Tsai Hung, Chiang. Tsai Hung plays Pao Yu Lung. Chiang Tao plays Chen Wen Yao. Feng Ko An plays Chang Chin Chu. And then last but not least, Liang Chia Jin plays Chien Sin. I don't know how sometimes I sound money and other times I do not. Like sometimes I be getting those Z's and those TS's. I be nailing them. And then other times I just sound like, hey, you know what? They need to build a wall. Every time I say a Chinese person's name wrong, anybody's name from the East wrong, I feel like I'm no better than someone who wants to build the wall to keep foreigners out. Okay, maybe I'm being a little hard on myself. I would be lying if I said I didn't feel that every time I mispronounced a foreign name. I do feel that I am exactly the reason why everybody hates us. Now, Philip told me that that's not true, that I'm trying and that's all that matters. But I could tell when I did that interview with Philip and Van Ness Wu and Andy On that a couple of my pronunciations made Andy's eye twitch. But Andy's also an angry man. I don't know that for a certainty. He just seemed, I think we got him up a little early for that particular interview. Go on now. Can't pronounce a Chinese name. Build a wall. Ellis Cinema. Shawscope. Shaw Brothers. Volume 1. Available through Arrow Video now. This is one of the best box sets they've ever released, if you ask me. Ellis Cinema, Arrow Video. We go.